here's how to make thumbnails like this, or even like this. Just keep in mind that you're going to need the Java Edition version of the game, and you're going to need NPC mod. Everything you'll need will be linked in the description. And all you need to do is just follow what I do. So basically, go into your inventory, hit this little arrow at the top, go to custom NPC tools and get the NPC wand. Then all you need to do is just right click with the NPC wand, which creates an NPC. Then make sure that you hide the name and then change the texture from texture to player, and then enter the username of the skin that you want to use. So now as you can see, it's me, wow. Well, I'm just gonna rotate this so it faces me. So go to AI, go to movement, hit edit, change the rotation from body to manual, and then I'm just gonna make sure that it faces me, just like that. Then all you need to do is go to advanced, then change the job right here and just go to puppet. Now I like to go to the side of my character, right click, advanced, puppet, hit edit. And then if I do edit, let's say on the head, now I can adjust the position of each layer. Basically, this is how you get the poses for the thumbnail. But yeah, you can do something like that. And you can also give it items to hold and armor to wear. So to do that, now this thumbnail is going to be a bridge thumbnail, so I'm just going to dye some armor and then put it on the character. Then right click the NPC with the NPC wand, go to inventory, and then you can just start giving it items to hold, just like that. So now we have a pose like that. Now I'm just gonna change it a little bit. All right, so here's my pose. Here are the settings if you want to copy. But yeah, you can just, it's really up to you the way that you want your character to be. Now what we're going to do is take the screenshot, and to do this you can pretty much just use any texture pack you like. I'm just using a simple one that just makes the sword shorter. Just make sure when you're taking a screenshot your FOV is low, like around 30 or something. Then what you can do is just go into a position and just find the position of the screenshot that you want, like maybe something like that. It really depends. You can also go underneath if you want, like maybe that or something. Also, make sure that when you're taking the screenshot, the entity shadow is on. So just go to options, video settings, details, entity shadows on. Now that we have taken our screenshot, it's now time to edit it. Then what you want to do is head to the website photopea, which will be linked in the description, and then just drag in the screenshot that you took. Alright, so as you can see, I have my screenshot, and you just want to go over to image size, make sure it's 1920 by 1080, change the resample mode to nearest neighbor and hit OK. This is just going to resize your image to the needed size for a YouTube thumbnail. If it's already 1920 by 1080, then you don't have to worry about that. All I'm going to do right now is do Control-Alt-T, which is going to allow me to resize my image, zoom it in, rotate, that sort of stuff. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And there we go. So then what you want to do is come over here, go to the lasso select, right click it, and then do polygon lasso select. Then hit Z on the keyboard, or just come down here to the zoom tool, hold left click and just drag, which is going to zoom it in. If you hold control and scroll wheel, it's going to move it side to side. If you just scroll wheel up and down, then if you just scroll wheel, it'll go up and down. But what we're going to do is just zoom in a bit on your character, go to the lasso tool, click to make a point, and then where you want that point to end, click again. But it needs to be in separate lines. So as you can see, there's a point there. I'm going to make another point because I want it to be there. Basically, you're just marking out the character so we can add separate effects to it. But yeah, just make these points just like I'm doing here around the character. Make sure you do that. It is a bit time consuming, but I'm just going to speed this up. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just about to finish marking out the character. Just click back to your original point, or just double click and it'll automatically do that. Then we're just going to zoom it out, make sure the lasso tool is selected, right click the layer, do layer via copy. Just going to rename this to player. So now if I hide the background layer, we have our character here. So what that means is now we can add effects to it, just like so. So right click the player, go to blending options, and just double click it. And here's the main effects you want to add: inner glow, gradient overlay, and a drop shadow. You can play around and mess with these settings as much as you want. But yeah, you can mess around with these and adjust them to however you want. So now if I unhide the background layer, you're gonna notice there's some weird like outline thing on the character. And this is because if I hide the player we just outlined, there's still this player underneath, So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select the background layer and outline this bridge that I'm standing on, which is fine because I'm gonna end up replacing the sky later on anyway. Basically now we can just go ahead, delete the background layer just like so. So now all we need to do is just add in a sky, which we will do in a second. But next what I'm going to do is add the same effects we added to the player and do it onto the background layer. So right click the player, do layer style, copy, right click the background layer, do layer style paste. That'll add in the exact same effects and then just adjust it to the way that I want it. Now what we're going to do is select the layer where you have your character on, go to image, adjustments, hue/saturation, and just change the saturation up a bit, like something between 10 and 30 is normally what I do, because it just adds in a bit more vibrance to the thumbnail. You don't want to add too much because that's like, why would you do that? But yeah, just adjust the saturation, nothing else. Hit OK. I'm gonna do the same thing to the bridge, and not as much, somewhere between 10 and 15, like maybe 12 or something. Now what we're gonna do is add a sky. So the way I get my skies is from the Snowfro GFX bundle, which I'll link in the description. Basically, the YouTuber Snowfro put together this whole GFX pack. But yeah, what you want to do is just hide these first two layers, go to skies and environment, go to custom skies, then just pick out a sky that you want to use. So this first one I like, so I'm gonna left click it, do Control C, then I'm gonna go over to the thumbnail I'm working on and do Control V to paste the sky into this. Now I'm just gonna drag the sky layer beneath the bridge I'm standing on. So as you can see, now we have our sky. Now I'm just gonna adjust the saturation of this 2 to make it more vibrant, something like 15. So now we're just gonna start adding in text and stuff. So what I'm gonna do, come down here to the text tool, change the font to whatever you want. I normally use Hey Comic. Change the size, I would say to something like 150. Make the color whatever you want. Just click on the image, just type whatever. So let's say this video is a commentary, so I'll just make it say commentary, and I'll drag this above the player just so we can see. Now I'm just gonna double click it, come up to size, and like type in 250 just to make it a bit bigger, or 300. Yeah, that looks very good. Alright, I'm just gonna now center it a bit, and there we go. I'm just gonna position it where I want it. I'm gonna add in this effect, which as you can see adds in a bit of depth to the text, and I'll show you the settings right now. So just right click the text, blending options, add in a 3D layer. Hit OK, and then as you can see, we have our text. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do an effect that I learned from the YouTuber Flaw in his thumbnail tutorial. So what I'm going to do is take the text, put it under the player. I'm going to do Control J, which duplicates it. Take the duplicated text and put it above the player. Right click the duplicated text, do clipping mask. Right click the duplicated text, do layer style clear. And then change the fill all the way down to 0. Right click the duplicated text, go to blending options, add in a stroke, make it the same color as to whatever your text is. Then as you can see, it makes this cool little effect. I wouldn't go anywhere above like 7 because that's just too much. But yeah, just something like that, maybe even less to be honest. But yeah, so there's our text. Alright, so the thumbnail right now though, it's still looking a bit plain. So what I like doing, and what I see so many YouTubers use in their thumbnails, is a confetti effect. It's sort of like in this thumbnail, if you know what I mean. So the way that I do this is I'll just drag in a random confetti image that I created within my editing software, and I'm just gonna put this right above the sky layer, but as you can see, there's a black background. Well, whenever there's a clear difference between the main image and the background, we can use something called the magic wand tool. So in this image in particular, there's a very obvious difference from the confetti and the black background. So I'm just going to go over to the magic wand tool or hit W, click on the background, just hit delete. And then as you can see, all of that is removed. Hit Control D to deselect. I tried to explain that best I could. By the way, you can get a regular confetti image that's transparent off of Google or something. But as you can see, there's still a stroke. So what I'm going to do is do filter, blur, Gaussian blur. What I'm going to do is blur this until the stroke can't be seen. So somewhere around here. Alright, there we go. So as you can see, it's blurred a bit. You can also do the same with the background. You can do filter, blur, radial blur, and then do zoom. It's up to you though. Now I'm gonna just go to image adjustments, hue slash saturation on the confetti image, and just switch up the hue. Just like that, just to give us different colors, you know what I mean? Basically, the confetti image just makes it pop a bit more, if you know what I mean. So here's with, here's without. Obviously, it makes a really big difference. Now, I want there to be a logo of the server I'm playing on, so I'm gonna go back to the GFX bundle, go to Assets, click the drop down, go to Logos, click the drop down, go to Default, and as you can see, we have a bunch of logos of a bunch of different servers. So I'm just gonna click the drop down of that folder, which is the default one. Select the CubeCraft logo, do Control C, come back over to my image, Control V. So now I'm just gonna adjust the CubeCraft logo and add it into the corner here maybe. Control Alt T the image, make it a bit smaller. Like maybe do something like that. But yeah, I would say this thumbnail is pretty much done. Now I would say this is done, so we're gonna export it. So go up to File, Export as PNG, change the name to whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. Make sure the width is 1920 and the height is 1080. Make sure the quality is at 100% and hit save. This is pretty much just a quick tutorial, I guess, on how I make my thumbnails. If you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, comment if you need help with anything, because I'm here to help if you need it. Thanks for watching. See ya.